Welcome back with another banger. It's the React Vibes. Let's get straight to it.
The mother orca appears dead, her body floating motionless in murky water beside her son. But this wasn't the ocean. These whales were left behind inside a closed defunct marine park in France. But then she moved, looking straight up at my drone, curious, almost relieved. After all this time, they weren't alone anymore. It was as if they recognized me. What happened next was nothing short of heartbreaking and beautiful. The two began to perform, as if remembering what it meant to be seen. They started to move, slowly at first, then with joy. Leaping, twirling, performing the only language they were ever taught. But this time, there was no crowd, just me, and their longing to be free. Their bodies cut through still water like memories coming back to life, spinning, rising, falling, as if the ghost of applause still echoed somewhere in their minds. They still have hope, and their story isn't over unless we let it. To the 55 million people who've already shared my post, our voices have already sent waves crashing against the French government. This is the moment we push harder. Please share.
Yo, France, talk to your city officials and go save these whales ASAP. Shout out to Samantha, one of the 55 million people who shared this with me. Shout out to Seth Lawless for sharing this video, which is heartbreaking. Sanitation is probably crap. They probably gave up. Luckily for him and his drone. I love you, France. Let's make a push to save these whales.
What are these lines in the sky that we have all seen?
There's sprayed particulate dispersion. Bottom line is, when we have up-close film footage of these aircraft at altitude with nozzles visible turning dispersions on and off, this is not, quote, condensation. Geoengineeringwatch.org is the only entity to sample what these heavy aircraft are emitting at altitude. We found exactly what we knew we would find, starting with aluminum nanoparticles. Bioavailable freeform aluminum is toxic to all life, period. That element is named in numerous climate engineering patents as part of a geoengineering dispersion element. This elephant in the sky that we are told is a conspiracy theory is exactly what the entire global climate science community says we need to deploy immediately to slow down the warming of the planet.
We did some testing, and so yesterday I'm seeing these chemtrails, and today I'm in my sauna sweating, and I want to tell everyone why. The first test that we did, Pastor, was we went and we sweated, and I sweated for a bunch of days, but I sweated and collected the sweat samples and then an engineer and sent them off to the lab and said, what's coming out when there's no chemtrails? And what we found really corroborates Dane Wigington's great work at Geoengineering Watch, and also Mike Adams, Health Ranger's great work on the sky fallout. We corroborated that what's coming out of us are aluminum, barium, and strontium. But this is where it gets really exciting. The aluminum is far and away the largest short-circuiting heavy metal that we are being exposed to in these chemtrails. So with no chemtrails, the amount that came out in my sweat, Pastor, was 281 nanograms per gram. Now that's more than triple any other metal coming out. So we know that where that's still coming in from. Every time there is a chemtrail, and maybe I didn't sweat before that, it showed up. And now check this number out. 281 is the number, 281. Now, the day after a chemtrail, same experiment, just same sample size, everything. We collected the sweat again, 2,958 nanograms per gram. We went from 281 to 2,958 nanograms overnight, just with chemtrail days. So the first message we have to get out to everyone who loves God, we have to get this out, is that when you see a chemtrail, it is your duty to sweat within 24 hours to get that waste that you have just breathed in, you couldn't even see it, get it out of your body before it can embed in your cell structure and start disrupting the electricity that God designed your body to flow on. We did
Something massive is afoot right in front of us, and I'll prove it in 1 second. Unrelated, did you see what Tucker Carlson just posted? I'll be right back, and I mean really, stay till the end.
What are these lines in the sky that we have all seen?
There's sprayed particulate dispersion. Bottom line is, when we have up-close film footage of these aircraft at altitude with nozzles visible turning dispersion, this is not, quote, condensation. Watch.org is the only entity to sample what these heavy aircraft are emitting at altitude. We found exactly what we knew we would find, starting with aluminum particles, bioavailable freeform aluminum to all life, period. That element is named in numerous climate engineering patents as part of a geoengineering dispersion element. This elephant in the sky.
So of course, we know all these people are just being downright bat crap crazy. We know. Like, what are they even talking about, right? But let me ask you this. The same video is posted on TikTok, Facebook, Instagram, everywhere. No problem whatsoever. Why now? By the way, TikTok, I'll sue you. There is something much bigger afoot right now, and it's apparent that the lid is being removed off everything under a certain circumstance. Would he have been able to post that video a few years ago? You know, the sky has been so clear and blue, the whole government shut down. Look at this beautiful night a few nights ago. Of course, the shutdown is completely 1000% unrelated to the sky. Why is there an X in the sky at nighttime? Why now? Think. Bookmark, save the video. Something is coming.
Yo, I agree. Like, there's a lot of information coming out that was really suppressed and censored, and it's being able to be said freely all of a sudden between Tucker and Candace. Stay woke, stay ready, y'all.
In Washington, D.C., there are 23 major Zodiacs in that city, more than any other city in the world. One other thing you're going to love, I don't think it's not on this map. In the earliest plat of Washington, D.C., all the lots are numbered, except one. You get up to 665, and then it jumps to 667, 668. So what's missing? 666, 666. And guess what sits on that lot today? The capital of the United States. Now, it's accepted by historians that the French Revolution was fomented by the Illuminati. George Washington, big Masonic. So they're passing along the ancient mysteries through Freemasonry. By the way, if you think that the Illuminati is just something you can laugh at and just some kind of boogaboo, here's a letter in 1782 from George Washington where he said, "It was not my intention to doubt that the doctrines of the Illuminati had not spread to the United States. On the contrary, no one is more fully satisfied of that fact than I am." These guys knew more about what was going on than we do today with all our modern technology and all our electronic communications.
Trump's Ballroom.
Dude, I've heard some conspiracies about this.
Yeah, and the kicker, Trump is not using taxpayer money.
Oh.
He has some donors.
Ooh.
You ready for these donors?
Yes.
Google, Apple, Amazon, Meta, Microsoft, Lockheed Martin, Palantir,
Typical.
T-Mobile.
One of these
Sponsored
things
by
is not
T-Mobile.
like the other. Yeah.
Here's where it gets weird. Now it's going to be over $300 million for this 90,000 square foot ballroom. $3,330 a square foot. Way outside the standard of what you pay per square foot for a building.
So what are they spending so much money on?
A theory is that they're building an underground database center.
Yeah, there you go.
A couple years ago, Israel built a underground data center. They paid $319 million for this.
That's got to be it.
So this ballroom is costing about the same as what this data center cost in Jerusalem.
But not nearly as big.
Well, that's just the surface.
Yeah.
Because they're just building a ballroom.
Yeah.
But what's going to be underneath?
And why are all these people interested in investing in it?
They would all invest because they don't want to be excluded.
Oh my gosh, bro.
In 2008, when everyone was telling me to get rid of my MySpace and to get a Facebook, I was right. I should have stuck with MySpace.
Who made MySpace?
Tom.
Tom.
The legend.
You don't know Tom?
MySpace Tom?
I didn't have a MySpace.
No.
Do you know how young I am?
I don't know how old I am.
Y'all, this video crazy as fuck. This man think he witnessed the alien this day. Now, I don't know if it's an alien, but all I know is that John ain't human, fool. The way this shorty was walking was like a robot or some demonic possession type shit. This man beeped the horn, beep beep. Then she turned around all slow and just looked lethargic, fool. And then I don't know what he was saying in the video because he was talking Spanish. So I need somebody to translate what the hell he was saying. Y'all let me know what y'all think this shorty is down below in the comments. You think she a head? You think she a alien like he said? or something else? Leave it down below in the comments. Why should I see turn around?
Va para adentro. Mírala. Dale, pitale, pitale, pitale. Pitale, pitale, pitale. Ya miraste.
What the fuck is that? Somebody explain to me. I ain't never seen no shit like that. Her face look mushed in, sunken, look black. Then she walking all weird, fool. I'm not gonna lie, just looking at this picture right here, you probably thought this was like CJ from Grand Theft Auto San Andreas. Nah, y'all, I don't know. Let me know down below in the comments what y'all think Shorty is.
Dang. Yeah, she look like she's on that stuff. Shout out to Xavier X. That turn was creepy though, for real.
The biggest thing on the news right now, also a recession indicator, the Starbucks Barista cup.
Wait, what?
Oh, this is the new Labubu, fam. Oh, you don't know. Starbucks just came out with like, it's a bear with a Starbucks like hat on it and the straw that goes out like this.
Okay,
right?
okay.
This is my theory. This is a whole social experiment that Starbucks did just to expose like this whole recession, because all we can look forward to is this $30 luxury cup. Mans were elbowing people in line for it.
Go ahead.
You said you were not here.
All right, Karen.
We saw you
All right.
photos.
That's fine. On the photos, bring up the photos.
You're escalating the situation.
I'm not. I'm in line just like everybody else.
Everybody else was in line out there.
I was in line the same way.
Wow. They were arguing, sending threats to Starbucks because the workers got first dibs and they were lining up for 5 hours.
Sneakers, bro.
Fam, sneakers just for this bare cup.
Yeah.
You can get this cup on Amazon without the Starbucks branding for $15.
It is a recession.
But why does everyone want it? Because it's limited. It looks like luxury. Oh, I have it. This is a collection.
Yeah. Because what's going to happen, because the Labubu, I guess, idea is proven, they're just going to start remixing that shit, bro.
And they just made new versions. So it's like, oh, you have a winter version. You have a Christmas version. Oh, they know exactly what to do. This is peak consumerism at a time of recession.
So believe it or not, this is actually a real picture taken, I believe, in the Sequoias in 1899. After they cut the tree down, they all got on top of it and they were dancing on it. But what happened to all of the giant trees? I mean, in the Sequoias, you could literally drive through a giant tree. It was known for that. And apparently, a storm knocked it down pretty recently. Okay. But why were all of the trees cut down? Like, the Industrial Revolution, for some reason, they just destroyed all of the giant trees in North America. And for why? Some of them were thousands of years old. They had their own ecosystems. They were so large. So destroying these trees destroyed entire ecosystems. They destroyed rivers and streams that were flowing. It completely changed the ecosystem of a lot of North America just by cutting these trees down and industrializing the world. But yeah, all that you just saw, Devil's Tower, it has hexagonal cell walls, and trees have hexagonal cell walls. Another thing, you know when you cut out a tree and water starts flowing out of it because the root system is pulling up water from the earth and, it's all being sprayed out? Well, that actually happens in Angel Falls, I believe in Venezuela or something. So it is the tallest waterfall in the world. And if you look at Angel Falls from a top-down view, it kind of looks like a giant tree stump. This is Angel Falls. How is the water constantly flowing out of it year-round? I asked ChatGPT and it said like rainfall stores at the top of the plateau and then it spews down. It just doesn't make sense to me. It could be a giant tree, it might not be, who knows? Who knows? But why did they cut down all the trees?
Now that's a great question right there. Shout outs to Holistic Health Nut 33. Yeah, we was talking about these trees in a live stream with Teddy Ganja. This was an amazing video, for real.
Hold on. I got the one. I ain't cuffing. Drag him out! Drag him out! Stand up! Stand up! Stand up! Come on, stand up!
CIA had a program called Project Pegasus.
Did this have anything to do with QTEL? Basically, they fund all the technology for CIA.
DARPA.
Yeah.
Basically, think of it like this. DARPA is an arm of the government that is the sword and the shield. So they create military weapons, defense systems, also a lot of offensive systems and whatnot. In Marvel, they have something called SHIELD. It's like CIA with DARPA mixed in, and the NSA as well. They have no governance. They work outside of presidents and Congress. They pretty much approve anything they want. They have something called the black budget, where they have unlimited funding to where they can pretty much, hey, we want to fund this. We don't have to listen to Congress. We don't have to listen to the president.
That's who the government really is. So not this puppet show.
Tesla, they had all his works, and when he died, he probably killed him.
Definitely.
Took all his works. Then his family wanted all his works and say, hey, we own all that work for, next of kin. He had 80 boxes. They give 60 boxes back. So where are those other 20 boxes? In those works, they found something to where he basically discovered time travel and teleportation. They're all one and the same, because if you can teleport, in theory, you can go from different times in space and time. They found out that the younger you are, the more flexible your mind is.
Gate program.
Exactly. This is why they had a gate program in school.
Wow. That's why there's an attack on the family, right? Because if you have the broken family, there's no solid ground, right? No deciphering.
They were sending kids back in time. So one kid, this is all documented, he goes to the Gettysburg Address to see Lincoln speak. He noticed a flash when he was there. Somebody took his picture. Now, a historian goes to the archives, back to the Gettysburg Address, and looks for this same kid, and he is there at the Gettysburg Address because he has a 70s haircut.
No way.
Yes.
So crazy.
Oversized boots. He was alone in the picture. They were like, who is this kid with a 70s haircut? Turns out it was him. And then not only that, they sent kids back in time to the same place multiple times, and they were running into themselves. So they were told by the CIA, hey, don't touch yourself because it'll cause a paradox.
Little Back to the Future. It's always in the movies.
It's always in.
Remember those videos or those pictures that came out? The dude with the iPhone. Was it a video?
I've seen a lady with a phone.
I saw that one. Yeah.
Yeah. So it was a lady, but also that picture, he looked like a Gen Z guy.
Yeah, he did.
So if time travel ever existed, it's always existed. Because people are like, oh, time travel can't be possible. Well, maybe one day it will be. Well, that's the case. It already does exist.
The meme 6'7" is demonic, and just hear me out.
6'7", a meme kids can't get enough of and teachers can't get away from.
We are not saying the word 6'7" anymore.
Some schools even banning the phrase in classrooms.
You are no longer allowed to say, what number do you think I'm going to say? 6'7".
I feel like an unk just making this video, but I know a lot of unks are following me, so let me explain. 6'7" is probably the most viral meme in the world right now. It was actually named Word of the Year by Dictionary.com, and it really has no meaning, but it originated from a rap song by a guy named Skrilla, and this guy is one of the most demonic artists I have ever seen in my entire life. He claims he sacrifices animals and can't really explain why.
I like sacrificing goats and all that shit. That shit not just for like, that's real life. You sacrifice a goat. You sacrifice goats, chickens, mice. Like, I do shit for certain shit though. Like, I'm not allowed to explain it.
Claims he speaks to spirits and he can cast these spirits onto people.
You talked to a spirit before? Yeah, like for example, I talked to Agun. Agun, he's one of the Orishas. He's a owner of metals. So like, I talk about it in my music though. Like, put bad spirits on people too. Like, you could put a person's name. You could put them inside the Agun pot, and like you basically sending Agun like metal, like they can get shot, stabbed, something can happen to him.
He has an album called Underworld, and all of the titles are named after spirits of Santeria, and in the music videos you can see how dark the symbolism is. Also a YouTube video, and he talks about his religion, and he shows you all of the gods that they talk to.
So he can show y'all some shit with my religion,
This is the person who you come talk to when everything is going down and you feel like you're stuck between a room where there's no way out. You know, that's a goon.
That right there's a goon.
The next one is Ochosi. He's the hunter of the religion. This is Ochu Odudua.
Look, I'm not saying you're demonic if you say this meme or if your kids say this meme, but the more I look into this guy, the more I think that this really is just some type of chant.
I'm getting those vibes from the movie The Devil's Advocate. If you know, you know. Shout out to you on Believe Me Official. I ain't know it was like this.
Welcome back to Wendy's. Fresh, never frozen. Well, mostly. You're gonna love what's inside this one. We fry everything in our special blend of seed oils and preservatives. Keeps it crunchy, even after it dies. We say it's never frozen, but you didn't think we really meant that, right? It's just marketing. Oh, this one's loaded with corn syrup, red 40, and phosphoric acid. Don't worry, it's FDA approved. Every bite is a mystery. Beef, soy, or something else? It's all part of the flavor adventure. Just look at our happy customers, full of joy, flavor, and a little bit of seed oil in every cell.
Where's the beef?
You're already infected. Brain rot reels.
Oh, Chomadillo.
Here we go again. The Philippines was just hit with a massive typhoon. And you know what's interesting about all this? Again, this was another place that they proposed to build smart cities. These 15-minute cities of the future connected to digital IDs and electric cars, and you can't leave. This is all about the one world government, one world control. LA, 15-minute smart cities. Jamaica, 15-minute smart cities. Maui, 15-minute smart cities, all get hit with natural disasters. Now, why is it that every time these future utopias are announced in these places, they all get hit with these natural disasters? Don't you find this quite odd? Are you putting the pieces of the puzzle together like I am and seeing a direct correlation here? A common theme, if you will, wiping out current foundation to build new foundation. First destruction and then reconstruction. What's gonna rise from the ashes, guys? Surveillance grids, digital IDs, and centralized control, all under the disguised name of innovation. Now, the real ones can all see through the storm. We know what's really happening behind the closed doors. Our world is being purposely dismantled piece by piece by the psychopath globalists at the top, and the more people that wake up to this, the faster we're going to take these people down and actually build a beautiful new world for ourselves. So stay woke. Peace and love.
Peace and love. Prayers going out to the Philippines. That's heartbreaking to see that grandmother with her grandchild on the top of the roof like that. What a coincidence. Plans for another smart city.
I bet you've never seen a Tesla coil do this before. Now, this is a toy one. You can plug your phone into it or a computer and play music through it. And how it works is when that lightning comes out of the tip of it, it interacts with the air like an AM radio tower and creates sound. Pretty dope. So if we replace that tip with a little wire, and that lightning can direct where the wire goes because it's force, then we can see the pattern of that sound. So what this guy did is he put this little tip on and he had a long exposure camera and he traced the pathway of the sound. And it doesn't look like much here, but wait until we use a long exposure camera to see the actual path. That's ridiculous. That's sick as fuck. It's a galaxy. It's a cymatic pattern through a galaxy in a Tesla coil.
Insane Crimes Part 4. In 2001, U.S. border agents at the Mexican border discovered 42-year-old Enrique Aguilar Canchola sitting inside a hollowed-out passenger seat that had been modified to look completely normal. He'd been sewn into the seat to sneak into the U.S. undetected, but agents noticed the seat looked unusually bulky and pulled the car aside. Canchola was immediately arrested along with the driver. In 1980, the FBI set up a fake company to expose corrupt politicians, and 25% of the congressmen who were offered bribes accepted them, leading to multiple convictions in one of the largest stings in U.S. history. In 2025, South Carolina teaching assistant Alexander Lewis was arrested after repeatedly spraying a powerful fart spray inside of West Florence High School, triggering nausea, headaches, and respiratory issues among students and staff. The odor contaminated parts of the building's ventilation system, forcing inspections and cleanup that totaled more than $55,000 in damage. Lewis was charged with disturbing schools and malicious injury to property, turning what he thought was a harmless prank into one of the most expensive school incidents of the year.
Plasma-type phenomena was captured on a trail cam in Wisconsin, gliding through the forest, and then it dissipates into the ground. And I'm going to say this is probably some of the weirdest phenomena or any sort of strange paranormal sighting of this nature we've seen probably in the past couple of years, right? It looks like an absolute plasma-type entity, whether you want to say it could be interdimensional, it could be just a hot ball of plasma, much like we see from storms, earthquakes. We've had lots of geomagnetic storms at the minute, CMEs. We've had a 1.7 X-class CME and a 1.2 that's just happened, and this could be a result of spikes of energy picking up. But look at this thing as it kind of just like stops and dissipates and disappears into the floor. Kind of reminds you of like a wisp or something of that nature, like almost like a larger version of it, you know? And I can't work it out. Whether there's something under there. I mean, wherever this disappeared in the ground, I'd be getting my pickaxe out and trying to hit the floor with it and being like trying to figure out what the damn hell was under there, because something seems to be around there. I just look at it, bruv. Absolutely wild. Wisconsin, get a grip.
Shout outs to Wisconsin. I totally agree. Grab the pickaxe and gets to digging. Shout outs to Interstellar Discussion.
I'm sorry. Relax. We didn't crash. Relax.
This is the only confirmed evidence of interdimensional travel, and it's absolutely terrifying. In 1953, deep beneath the Nevada desert, the U.S. military established Base 46, a classified research facility testing experimental drilling technology. Dr. Richard Hayes, the lead scientist, designed an elevator system that could descend beyond the Earth's crust. On March 15, 1954, the first manned descent began. The elevator was supposed to go down 2 miles, but something went wrong. Dr. Hayes descended for exactly 11 minutes, according to surface monitors. When he returned, his watch showed 11 minutes had passed, but Hayes insisted he had been down there for 80 years. Hayes described a world below where sound existed before light, where he met versions of himself from different timelines. Military psychiatrists declared him insane, but 3 days later, surveillance footage showed Hayes hadn't aged a single day in those 11 minutes. His body temperature was 15 degrees below normal, and his blood contained minerals that don't exist on Earth. Base 46 was sealed permanently.
You remember the time that Britney Spears went off script and claimed to have seen a reptilian? Maybe Mr. Ike has been right all along. And maybe this explains what happened to Britney Spears subsequently, after this, the downward spiral. Listen to this.
I went with this one guy and he looked like a lizard. I was so scared. He was saying this accent and I was like, oh my God. I was like, holy shit, he looks just like a lizard. And it was really bad.
So you just left? Wow. Now, I can honestly say, I've seen millions of faces probably throughout my life. I don't know that I'd describe anyone as looking like a lizard. That's a pretty, descriptive claim. Now, before you think this is a little bit far out, bear with me, because there's books written on this and ancient texts talking about serpent gods or serpent beings. The reptilians possess their hybrid bloodlines and hide behind human form. World leaders like Father George Bush are only the outer shell that we see with our 5 senses within visible light. Their minds and emotions are dictated by the reptilian entities that inhabit. Now, don't you think it's strange, all the injustice and evil that's happening to humanity? Don't you think it would take a non-human to be behind such evil against humans? You know what I mean? I've had a discussion with a friend. I go, yeah, you hear about the latest, glyphosate, they're dumping it in the PFOAs and the forever chemicals. And he goes, dude, they must not be human. How could a human do that to the entire world? We're talking about forever chemicals, they're all over the place, and glyphosate and atrazine being sprayed. How human can you be destroying humanity? Regardless of greed. These guys know at the end of the day they can have all the money in the world, but if everything's poison, they're done for, unless you're like a multi-dimensional entity. So let me know your thoughts in the comments below and follow for more.
It reminds me of the TV show V. Shout out to Shane Vibe's Truth. This could be the reason why she went through that downward spiral.
We have video games. One is called No Man's Sky, created by 14 college kids. It has 80 quadrillion planets, unlimited numbers of life forms as they travel throughout this game. There's a universe on 1 DVD. Now, what happens if you put AI on that software? Then those beings become conscious and those animals become conscious. Another game that exists is The Sims. The Sims are people that have jobs, go to work, have babies, go to parties, hang out, and all this kind of stuff. That's the video game. They're talking about putting AI into The Sims. They're going to become conscious. Now, what happens in The Sims and this other game, No Man's Sky, when these people become conscious from the AI and then write their own programs inside the program and create another conscious universe and another one and another one?
If you're interested in space at all, something very exciting is happening this week. This absolutely giant rocket is launching for only the second time ever, but this time it's sending things to Mars. And if you live in this area, you might be able to watch it launch to space. This is Blue Origin's New Glenn rocket. It's huge. It's 322 feet tall, and sitting in here are a pair of satellites. The satellites are called Escapade, or Escape and Plasma Acceleration Dynamics Explorers. One of the things they're going to try to do is try to figure out why Mars used to look like this when it looks like this now. Why did it lose its atmosphere? Figuring this out and how the current atmosphere handles things like solar storms is very important if we're going to have astronauts on Mars in the future. Blue Origin is also going to attempt to land this part of the rocket on a giant barge so that they can reuse that part for future launches. That part didn't work on their first launch. And what's crazy is that after this, the next time this rocket launches, it's going to be bringing Blue Origin's first lunar lander, Mark 1, to the surface of the moon. So this is all really high stakes, really quickly.
From the makers of the new Shepherd, Blue Origin. Yo, I can't lie. Pretty impressive the size of that shuttle. Like taller than the Statue of Liberty. Now that's massive. Shout outs to Astro Electra.
I trespassed on cult grounds and someone inside caught me. Down a normal suburban street outside of Portland, Oregon lurks one of the most enduring legends on the internet, the Temple of Oculus Anubis. When I arrived at the iconic gates, I was reminded of the opening to Castlevania. Or that scene in Willy Wonka where Charlie stands outside the gate and some random guy says,
"Nobody ever goes in. Nobody ever comes out."
Except in my case, the gates were open. I had a perfect view of the path leading to the towering statue of Sekhmet. I don't advocate trespassing. I had tried for weeks to find a way to reach the owners. So, resigned to being told to leave, having dogs sent after me, or being arrested, I stepped inside. I moved slowly down the path, soaking in the hauntingly beautiful atmosphere. I listened for rustling bushes or the beating of drums, looked for the flicker of torches or glimpses of hooded figures. But the only thing that appeared at the end of the path was a house. Not a gingerbread house or a Gothic mansion, just a house. I knocked at the door and waited. No answer. I turned to leave, but then the owner arrived and caught me on my way out. I shared about my educational experience and the type of content I create. We had a wonderful conversation, and to my surprise, she graciously gave me permission to tell the story I was hoping to tell. Oculus Inc. was the name of a fake eye care company that defrauded people of $3 million to fund the construction of what the internet calls Oculus Anubis. But that isn't the story I want to tell. That story's been told. This is the story about the stories we tell about this place. In the aftermath of fraud, the wife of one of those convicted was left to manage the property and the fallout. That fallout not only included those who were defrauded, but those who have created the lore around this place. There are tales of Egyptian death cults, networks of underground tunnels, secret occult gatherings, and even a fraudulent website called Oculus Anubis, The Rebirth, which is also the subtitle for one of the Howling movies. The owner told me once a man showed up with a sledgehammer threatening to smash the gates, forcing her to call the police. When I visited for the first time, a vandal had even smeared feces on the white statue of Sekhmet. The real story is about one person left to carry the fallout, where the very family behind the fraud kept creating new problems, all while internet sensationalists perpetuate myths that threaten the family, including the children that live here. As for the actual business happening behind these gates, the family is trying to rebuild their life by transforming this place from Oculus Anubis to Sonny's Organic Farm, specializing in chickens and eggs. There's an amazing irony in that this is the kind of place kids dare each other to enter, calling each other chicken if they refuse. Yet being a chicken is actually what qualifies you to get in here. Now, we can't deny certain buildings and landscapes evoke the imagination and inspire storytelling, but we need to handle each other's stories with care. In other words, good stories are important, but it's more important to be good neighbors. The reality is there is no cult inside the gates of Oculus Anubis, but there is a cult of chat around this cul-de-sac that has captured attention. This is my small effort to give gossip some glasses to see the truth and to encourage people to turn a blind eye to those trying to make this place a spectacle. You can help this family out by sharing this content and also engaging their blog. Details are in the caption. And let me know what you think of the myth of Oculus Anubis. For more stories like this, including the time I nearly lost my legs in the ruins of a giant's home in Wales, please follow along.
So this one had a good twist. I was not expecting it to end like that. Shout out to Professor Pierce.
I don't really care what your political persuasion is, but you should really call your senator. Because I'll tell you, this is costing the airlines millions of dollars. And just think of 30 airplanes with one engine running. And it's going to take us at least 90 minutes to take off. So it's frustrating. It's really frustrating for me. Because right now it's going to cost about 2 hours of our lives on the ground before we even take off, spend all that gas, all that money, and it just rolls into the rest of this system. So right now we're at a 4% reduction in flight capacity. Next week we go to 10. Last night I had a 6-hour delay in Houston, and the weather was perfect. It's because the air traffic controllers aren't getting paid. So the weekend.
Wait, hold up. Is Candace Owens dropping breadcrumbs for us to pick up about Erica Kirk? She just posted this on X just the other day saying there is something very sinister going on with mega churches and trafficking. Everyone should begin looking into stories like these that keep popping up. Always follow the money. Now that article she's referring to is on a former pastor at Greg Laurie's California megachurch accused of child abuse and trafficking in Romania. 2 Romanian men accused of being trafficked by Paul Havsgaard, the former pastor, in which he was running a shelter in Bucharest, Romania for nearly a decade. Now, they also stated that Greg Laurie, the pastor, was negligent in failing to prevent the abuse. Now, we have Romania, trafficking. Why does this sound familiar? Well, that's because Erica Kirk had a charity named Heroes Like Us in conjunction with Romanian Angels, who was allegedly accused of trafficking as well. Now, the pastor Havsgaard was first listed on the staff website in 2001, but by 2002, his name was gone. Reports say that he went to Romania first in 1998, but by 2002, reports of the abuse were already surfacing. Now, a lot of people say the timeline doesn't add up, but remember, they said this whole thing was going on for decades. Now, between 2011 and 2013, she was on the mission in Romania. That's her with her mom, but something else was going on too. She was actually working with Colonel Otto Buscher, in which he got accused of running a trafficking brothel in Romania. There's even an eyewitness breaking this whole thing down, giving her testimonial. And I do find it pretty interesting that Greg Laurie posted this on his Instagram just a couple weeks ago with Erica Kirk. Then we have Candace Owens dropping that link about his church. Very interesting. Now, I'm not claiming anything. I'm just putting the pieces together. Where there's smoke, there's fire. Make sure you guys go to my podcast on YouTube where I do an entire breakdown on this, but let me know what you guys think below.
I think low-key Candace is dropping crumbs for real. Shout out to Maverick Approach. We've been hearing a lot about Romania for a few weeks now, and I agree with Mav. Where there's smoke, there's fire.
Did Nikki Glazer just show the entire world on Saturday Night Live that there are still Ghislaine Maxwells in Hollywood? What do you guys think of this?
Maybe it's okay if you like come and supervise. And she was like, why? And I was like, because what if I molest him? and she was like, would you? And I was like, no, I would never. That's disgusting. But that's what I'd say if I was good.
That was Nikki joking on SNL about showering with her 4-year-old nephew. It actually gets much, much worse.
You don't get to choose what you're into, dude. What if it's one of those things you don't know you like till you get in there and you're like, well, this is my thing. And then it opens up a part of my brain.
Why are they trying to normalize this? Why is she making it look like a newfound hobby? Why does Hollywood continue to make the abuse of children some sick and twisted joke? Do they not realize that their jokes are someone else's reality? A child goes through this every single day. Not just that, but normalizing it, like trying whipped cream for the first time or playing chess and realizing you like it.
That sounds crazy, but there have been so many things in my life that I've looked at and been like, that's disgusting. I would never do that. And now I'm like, pickleball's kind of fun, actually. So it's like,
She stated that being on the set of SNL was a dream come true for her and used her dream come true to joke about human trafficking and child abuse almost the entire time. And you guys don't think they use comedians.
Bro, that was very cringeworthy. Like, what? Shout outs to A Truth for You. She make a good point. A dream come true and blow it like this. Crazy part is that the audience was actually laughing.
This team launches a weather balloon straight up to touch the firmament to prove that the firmament is there and we can't get past it. And about 46 minutes later, it stops rising. And you're going to see as the camera planes, the horizon stays to your eye level no matter how high you go. And it is flat, which only happens on a flat surface. They proved that it's touching the firmament. It can't go any further. And it's crazy that people deny this. And it's funny because the same people who deny the existence of the firmament and the flat earth believe NASA over the Holy Bible, the first verses of the Holy Bible, by the way. In the beginning, God created the heaven and the earth was without form and void, and darkness was upon the face of the depth. And the Spirit of God moved upon the face of the waters. And God said, let there be light, and there was light. And God saw the light, and it was good. And God divided the light from the darkness, blah, 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 blah. And God said, let there be a firmament in the midst of the waters, and let it divide the waters from the waters. As above, so below. There's waters above the firmament. That's why the sky is blue. Oh, isn't that funny? Because that's exactly how all of our ancestors depicted the earth, besides us. Our satanic controlled system that they sell you lies, because Satan is the god of deception. Waters above the firmament, as mentioned in the Bible, the heavens above the firmament. That's why the skies are blue. Once again, guys, the immovable, fixed earth that we live on, as mentioned in the Bible as well. We place the earth firmly on its foundations. It cannot be moved forever and ever. Psalms 104:5. Kind of like it feels like we're not moving. Like it feels like we're not moving, right? That's how I feel. I don't feel like we're spinning at 1,000 miles per hour. How about you? Oh, you're gonna ignore what you feel and see with your own senses and believe what you're told because you're a sheep. That's some globe-tard logic. With love, of course. Wake up. Peace and love.
Massive blackout tomorrow while we have this massive solar storm that's happening, and all of a sudden in Alaska, of all places, unrelated, we have these light spears showing up. Yeah, it's late, but this is deep. In Alaska, again, of all places, unrelated, shot by Vincent. But wait, did I tell you there's a massive blackout happening right now in Dominican Republic as of the last hour? But what really is a solar flare? We got a lot to get into. So as of right now, we still have another solar flare coming overnight and tomorrow, and this is just unreal what we're seeing. But is this right here what we're really seeing? And why does every ancient religion indicate something in the north? But first, the Simpsons prediction. This video and a whole bunch of videos said 1998 there's episode The Last Day of Springfield. No episode even exists. But that doesn't mean there isn't something groundbreaking happening right this second. I'm getting so sick of fact-checking y'all. Y'all post knowingly false information for views all the time. The truth is way more entertaining. And it's not just the light pillars that showed up. Chris caught this thing that showed up then disappeared. But is it a solar flare? Are these spiritual and frequency type objects we're seeing in the sky? We're seeing the aurora in South Carolina. That's not normal. And yes, that's what my eyes and my camera saw. Just because it's not in your area does not mean it's in mine. But we know the auroras come from the North Pole. Always have and always will. But there's also another place or two on this earth that causes the same kind of thing to show up in the sky. Who knows where? Not related at all. Did I show you these light pillars in Alaska? And I do wonder what Bouvet Island's up to. What's really in the North Pole, and why are our modern maps not show any land there when we know there was and still probably is land there? And why do half of the ancient religions of this world show a heaven at the North Pole? It's crazy. Why does the Bible talk about all these lights emitting from God's throne all the time? And why, when I was searching the North Pole and stuff around that, it shows Jesus Christ? Rufus Nigra, the great magnetic north? That reminds me of what Satan said in his heart. I'll ascend to heaven above the stars of God. I'll set my throne on high. I'll sit on the mount of the assembly that far reaches of the north. What's that old Christmas thing? He sees you when you're sleeping. He sees you when you're awake. Kind of like Jesus saying, behold, I come quickly. My reward is with me to give every man according to his work shall be. I've literally been trying to tell you guys this for 2 or 3 years now. There's something massive happening in our world spiritually right now, and that's why you can feel all these frequencies and these solar flares and the Schumann frequency. It's all related. The darkness of men's imaginations being exposed by their actions because they cannot control themselves. All the mass casualties, etc. So whether it's coming from the north or somewhere else, time's almost up.
I like how he fact-checked that Simpson episode. Episode doesn't even exist. Shout outs to the Real Moon Henry.
This is Fractal Math you're flying through, made from this program that's creating some shapes that should look pretty familiar. I thought it was pretty weird when I found out there's math in nature, but there's something even weirder. These patterns are infinite, and eventually the geometries will produce the same patterns that we have incorporated in our most impressive architecture. There's a geometric connection to inspiration through expanded states of awareness or higher consciousness. Ancient architects had a high-resolution connection to this inspiration, but what does that mean? Pattern is expressed in geometry, converted into math, and then translated into art and architecture. There's no better engineer than nature, and we knew that, and then we copied it. If you walk into a Hindu temple and you look up, you'll see the same fractal architecture that is used in the particle collider. If you look at the columns, you'll see fractal geometry that's so precise, the only comparison we have is a biological motor at molecular scale. Higher consciousness is order. It must be brought down from high to earth, and something incredible happens when you do that to a human mind. As a fractal itself, it comes up from nature. As it recognizes more patterns, it expands, it rises. To transcend means to end the trance of a lower form of consciousness. Some civilizations were obsessed with this. Each time we do this, we get new software, higher resolution, better graphics. The brain is a biological antenna. The closer you get to the geometry of higher consciousness, the more your little mind resonates with the big mind. Big mind splits into little minds using filters as the senses. Our fractal friends and family experience one freeze frame of this simulation with us, and we get to experience this together. There is nothing cooler.
shocked you, the table of contents is organized by ailment, and it makes it feel like you're actually walking through an herbal apothecary and picking what you need off the shelf. It offers you ingredients, instructions, and dosage. This book even has information on sourcing your herbs and other remedy ingredients. It's a fantastic resource, and I think everyone should have a copy of it in their home. I've put an orange shopping cart link down here at the bottom so you can get yours.
Why wasn't sperm designed to do half of the job and then the egg to do half of the job? Why is it that sperm was supposed to do less than 1% of the job, basically just give half of the genetics, and then the egg is supposed to give the other half of the genetics, and then literally everything else? The cytoplasm, the organelles, the mitochondria, all from the egg. And why is it that the sperm is probably only about 3 months old? From the time it was created to the time ejaculation, it's probably 3 months old, whereas the egg is as old as the mother, in which case the egg is probably close to 18 years old. Or if your mother had you when she was 30, then your egg that created you was 30 years old. Why such a big time difference? Why are there hundreds of millions of sperm after one egg? And why is it that the one egg chooses the sperm? Why is the egg 20 times the diameter and 8,000 times larger than the sperm? And 10,000 times larger in volume? The egg chooses and allows the sperm in. So that's actually the first sort of conscious movement of the whole operation of becoming a human, is the egg decided and the egg opened its gates. The egg orchestrates the merging of the sperm's chromosomes with its own. The egg physically builds the first cell, the zygote, and controls when and how the sperm's chromosomes get unpacked and integrated into the process. Why is all of the demanding work upon the woman's side, the egg, the feminine side of creation? Why does it do 99% of the whole process? Why wasn't it 50-50? The egg is 100% of the machinery. It's making everything happen. And why is it that in a biological sense, we all start out as female, everyone, man or woman? For the first 6 weeks after conception, embryos all have the same reproductive organs. Why is this? Why doesn't a man start as a man and a woman starts as a woman? Why do we both start as a woman? Why does a male get activated in week 7, but starting from the default woman blueprint? And woman is the one that God chose to bear children? Why do women have such a large responsibility in this realm? If we were to look at this design as a sort of communication from God to tell us how the universe operates or tell us secrets of the universe, would we not think that since woman is given the most difficult and largest responsibility, being a mother, as well as woman is what we literally start as for the first 6 weeks, as well as women has the way harder job, being 99% of the process of creating the human, you know, the feminine side is the egg, wouldn't this mean that God made women more powerful? If God did have a singular gender, would this not mean that God would probably be a woman? God gave women more power and more responsibility. Creating a human is power. What do you think?
I think that was definitely food for thought, for sure. Reminds me of that song, God is a Woman. Shout out to all the ladies. Homeboy had some deep questions.
Helen Keller is perched on top of the cage! She can't be thinking what I think she's thinking! She's not looking at John Henry at all! My goodness, she jumps! Through the
I hear a lot about the multiverse. They believe that there are multiple universes out there, and they've actually found the edge of our universe.
Not only did they find the edge of our universe, but they also found what seems to be a merging part or the beginning part of another universe overlapping slightly. This is pretty interesting because now it proves like, wait a minute, there is a multiverse. We're not the only one. So what happens at the other side of a black hole? Could it be a white hole? So as energy is being sucked out of one universe, is it going in and creating another universe from scratch? Is that the Big Bang? I do believe that we're living in a soup of universes, like we're just one of many universes. There's a doppelganger potentially of you in a lot of these universes. So in some universes, you're not sitting here talking to me because this is not even your career.
She could have cared less. Hey, this is the Islamic Center that was calling back in. So, hold on. Let's go for it. They called me back. The Islamic Center of Charlotte just called back.
Islamic Center of Charlotte, Robert,
Hi, yes. I was trying to call. I have a 2-month-old baby, and I ran out of formula last night, and I was wanting to see if there's any way you all could help with a can of baby formula.
We can, ma'am. Where do you live? Do you live in Charlotte?
Yes, I'm like 10 minutes from you all.
Okay. And what kind of formula do you use?
It's the Good Start.
Good Start. Yeah, that's fine, ma'am. If you come over here, we'll help you.
Okay. Hold on just 1 second, okay?
Okay.
Okay, I'm actually doing a social experiment. So I don't have a baby and I don't have a need, but I am doing a social experiment just to see which churches would actually help a starving baby. And unfortunately, there's so many that say no, and you immediately was like, yes, of course. And I just wanted to say thank you so much for your heart, and also to see if it was okay if I posted this on TikTok and maybe put your information on there for your church where people can send donations, maybe if they...
Yeah, no problem, ma'am. We do what we can. We appreciate your kind words. Thank you.
No, thank you so much. I appreciate you. Keep doing what you're doing. Thanks. You too. Bye. Oh, he instantly, he didn't, like the only question that he asked was, where are you located at and what kind do you want? No other questions. These other places are, they need to pay attention. These other churches need to take notes. But yes, okay, so I was gonna do this one earlier and he didn't answer, but it was the Islamic, hold on, where did he go? The Islamic Center of Charlotte. So I have to like look them back up because like I'd already went on because nobody answered the phone. Hold on. Yeah. So yeah, the mosque that's in Charlotte, North Carolina. So the Islamic Center of Charlotte. Such an amazing guy. No questions asked. Would you need it? Okay, let's go. Awesome.
And that's a wrap. Hope you enjoyed the deep dive. If you enjoyed this video, please consider to give it a like, subscribe to the channel. Don't forget to hit that notification bell. Shout outs to all the reactors. Thanks again. Till next time.